Hey guys, this is Pablo with Meditation Amsterdam. And if the background seems different tonight, it's because I am shooting this in the lovely city of Madrid, where I'm doing a short work residential together with my company. And I wanted to share a thought that arose today while reading a book that I've been studying, which at first I thought was incredibly boring and turned out to be really, really good. And that is a book called Amud Laa by Sri Siddharameshwar Maharaj, the teacher of Nisargadatta, the late Nisargadatta Maharaj. And the guy is a fully realized jnani or jnani, so a fully enlightened master. And he gives very clear indications about the mastery of self-realization. And throughout the book, he emphasizes several elements that come into play in the spiritual endeavor. But one of the main aspects that keeps coming back several times around in the book is this notion of the sheer amount of effort that needs to be made in order for real fruition to arise. Now, I've spoken in the past about this notion of our reality being colored by the state of our nervous system, and how our nervous system suffers from what you could call a kind of functional fragmentation. As part of our normal human development, our nervous system splits itself into functional parts. And as part of living a normal human life, the nervous system keeps on creating more splits and divisions because of trauma. Once the nervous system is split in a few parts, one particular part, which is the thinking module or the thinking part of the mind, develops the ability to create concepts and positionalities about things. And these positionalities, these sort of internalized sets of beliefs, serve as anchoring points or pivotal cornerstones for what you could consider an almost infinite amount of subdivisions to be created in the way that we perceive the world. So that by the time a fully functional adult is walking around the city of Madrid or wherever you may be walking around, you are surrounded by an apparent world from which you are separate, which consists of an infinite amount of seemingly separated objects. Alan Watts once said that a thing was a think, and by that he meant that a separate thing is nothing but a conceptual mental division. And this is kind of what we're referring to here. Now, I'm mentioning all of this because the analogy that came to mind the more I read Amud Laa in this trip, the more I came to the analogy that what we're in essence trying to do, if you had to search for a metaphor, was we're trying to take a broken eggshell and put it back together completely flawlessly, absolutely flawlessly. And it's not just an eggshell that was kind of cracked or broken once or twice, but which has been stamped upon until it was really broken into little tiny smithereens. And what we are aiming to do is to bring that eggshell to perfect singular wholeness again. Now you can imagine the magnitude of the task when compared to that. And it is kind of like that because every single separate object that appears to you out there is a non-integrated or a broken away piece of your own psyche. At least from a perceptual perspective. And once again, I've taken great care as of late in these videos to try not to make big philosophical statements or big statements about what reality is or how it works. So things such as everything is unreal, or everything is, or nothing exists, or we are one with everything, but still be careful about stubbing your toe against the table, right? So those kind of things are really unnecessary. It's I don't think it's very productive to speak in absolutist or conceptual, philosophical or ontological terms. Suffice it to say that from a perceptual perspective, and therefore, as far as we're concerned, the way reality comes at us, things are utterly fragmented. And the task of unification is the task at hand, is the task of reunifying the psyche so that which we fundamentally are, which is bare bones reality, with a raw or inherent endowment or capacity to know and to grow consciousness, so to speak. That can only come through clearly and correctly and identify itself properly as what it actually is, if the lens or the body/mind through which it is coming through is a clean and well integrated one. And it's a hell of a task. Our entire psychology and our entire evolutionary developmental history is against us in this task. It's all fragmentation. It's fragmentation all the way through. There is a call for urgency and not wasting a single minute in that book, or several calls to that effect. It is one of the books that claims that a human body is very rare to come across, and that we are well advised to give it as good use as we can, and that the only real purpose or the only real good use that you can give a human body is the endeavor to become self-realized. It may seem as if the call is for us as individuals to become self-realized, but the self that is realized is not our self, is the self, of course. The individual self is the very thing that needs to be seen through. So the main gist of today's video is that it's the effortful and nature of the work and the magnitude of it, the things that stand in our way, which is the nature of nature stands in our way, the nature of objective reality, let's say, in the way that it continues to fragment itself, and it's almost like a cornucopia, like an exuberance of multiplicity that it spews out, and our bare awareness gets completely hypnotized by that and identified with that which comes closest, which is our mind and our body, of course. Breaking through that hypnotic state is a very, very difficult thing, because the deeper layers of egoic identity are attached to our survival circuitry. So they're very difficult to touch. And once we touch them, they're very difficult to disentangle. And yet the instruction that is available around meditation, body work, breath work, gives us all the tools that we need to systematically clarify the mind, clarify our perception, and disentangle these strands of body-mind that have woven a kind of the fabric of identity. So identity can be seen as a fabric woven out of strands of perception that appear or give the appearance of being a thing, but when seen as individual strands, the entire illusion, of course, comes apart. And that's precisely the objective of things like meditation and self-inquiry. But it is difficult nonetheless, and not only is it difficult in terms of effort, but it is also tremendously unpleasant, of course, because identity tends to hide precisely behind painful psychosomatic affects that we are afraid to feel. That's exactly where it hides. And our willingness to feel them comes with the reward of more clarity, but it also comes at the price of less of what you could consider less comfort, right? So you can just feel everything more. But in feeling everything more, the nervous system becomes more acquainted with these parts, that part of our circuitry. It eventually becomes colonized. It starts to feel very pleasurable and very clear. It just takes a very long time and a lot of effort. So that is the essence of today's video. I hope to be making a few more clips while I'm here in Madrid. Greets to everyone who's still watching, even though I haven't been making much in the past few days. I've been mostly just dedicated to my meditation as it happens. Curious to hear what you guys make of this one, and I'll be back with more videos hopefully soon. Thanks again. Do like, share, and subscribe if you think that others might benefit from the content. Cheerio. Bye-bye.